10 Facts Story of an Accidental Inventions and Real History. Wonder, the wonder of unexpected happen. And even them can't believe themselves it's happening.
10 Accidental Inventions.
Number 10.
10. PlayDoh. The sticky toy was originally marketed as a wall cleaner that didn't work so well. Luckily, kids started using the product to make little sculptures, and before long, the fledgling company was making waves at a children's toy stable. PlayDoh was a pliable, putty-like substance concocted by Noah McVicker of Cincinnati-based soap manufacturer Keto Products. It was devised at the request of Carter Grocery, which wanted a product that could clean coal residue from wallpaper. Following World War II, with the transition from coal-based home heating to natural gas and the resulting decrease in internal soot, and the introduction of washable vinyl-based wallpaper, the market for wallpaper cleaning putty decreased substantially. McVicker's nephew, Joe McVicker, joined Keto with the roommate to save the company from bankruptcy. Joe McVicker was the brother-in-law of nursery school teacher Kay Sufo, who had seen a newspaper article about making art projects with a wallpaper cleaning putty. Her students enjoyed it, and she persuaded Noah McVicker, who also sold the putty, and Joe McVicker to manufacture it as a child's toy.
Number 9.
9. Potato chips. A story that would make it onto countless food forums today. Potato chips were accidentally invented when an annoying customer kept asking the restaurant to make his french fries thicker and crispier. George Crumb, the chef, sliced them wafer thin as a joke, but the guy loved them and the potato chip was born. A legend associates the creation of potato chips with Saratoga Springs, New York, decades later than the first recorded recipe for potato chips. By the late 19th century, a popular version of the story attributed the dish to George Crumb, an American cook of African American and Native American heritage at Moon's Lake House, who was trying to appease an unhappy customer on August 24, 1853. The customer kept sending his French fried potatoes back, complaining that they were too thick, too soggy, and or not salted well enough. Frustrated, Crumb personally sliced several potatoes extremely thin, fried the potato slices to a crisp, and seasoned them with extra salt. To Crumb's surprise, the customer loved them. They soon came to be called Saratoga chips, a name that persisted into at least the mid-20th century. A version of this story popularized in the 1973 national advertising campaign by St. Regis Paper Company.
Number 8.
8. Microwave oven. Percy Spencer, American physicist and inventor, was experimenting with a radar-related vacuum tube when a candy bar in his pocket started melting. Utilizing this new knowledge, he patented the microwave. What a lucky accident. Spencer is best remembered for a casual observation that would lead to a major change in food preparation. Standing next to a magnetron one day, he noticed that a candy bar in his pocket melted. This caused him to wonder if the energy from radio waves could be used to cook food. He placed popcorn kernels near the tube. Within minutes, he was snacking on the world's first microwave popcorn. In 1947, Raytheon produced the first radar range, based on Spencer's discovery. The original microwave ovens were huge and expensive, but restaurants, vending companies, airlines, and other commercial operations realized at once the advantages of quick-cooked food. A home model went on sale in the 1950s. The public was slow to accept the new method of cooking, but by the time Percy Spencer died in 1970, microwaves were fast becoming a nearly universal feature in American kitchens.
Number 7.
7. Postits. Spencer Silver discovered a low-tech adhesive in 1968 for which he found no use. Artflix was frustrated with not having sticky notes for his church books. Combining their hands, they launched Postits in 1980. Fridges have never looked the same since. In 1968, Dr. Spencer Silver, a scientist at 3M in the United States, was attempting to develop a super-strong adhesive. Instead, he accidentally created a low-tech, reusable, pressure-sensitive adhesive. For 5 years, Silver promoted his solution without a problem within 3M both informally and through seminars, but failed to gain acceptance. In 1974, a colleague who had attended one of his seminars, Artflix, came up with the idea of using the adhesive to anchor his bookmark in his book. Fry then utilized 3M's officially sanctioned permitted bootlegging policy to develop the idea. The original note's yellow color was chosen by accident, as the lab next door to the Post-it team had only yellow scrap paper do.
Number 6.
6. Corn Flakes. John and Kellogg, yeah, they were actual people, discovered the staple breakfast cereal when they accidentally left a pot of boiled grain on the stove for a number of days. This idea for Corn Flakes began by accident when Kellogg and his younger brother, Gave Kellogg, left some cooked wheat to sit while they attended to some pressing matters at the sanitarium. When they returned, they found that the wheat had gone stale, but being on a strict budget, they decided to continue to process it by forcing it through rollers, hoping to obtain long sheets of the dough. To their surprise, what they found instead were flakes, which they toasted and served to their patients. This event occurred on August 8, 1894, and the patent for flakes cereals and process of preparing same was filed on May 31, 1895, and issued on April 14, 1896.
Number 5.
5. Penicillin. Sir Alexander Fleming only discovered the wonder medicine after giving up on his medical experiments. He noticed a mold on an old petri dish which was breaking down bacteria around it. Growing the mold himself, he discovered that it contained the antibiotic penicillin, and history was made. Starting in the late 19th century, there had been many accounts by scientists and physicians on the antibacterial properties of the different types of molds, including the mold Penicillium, but they were unable to discern what process was causing the effect. The effects of Penicillium mold were finally isolated in 1928 by Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming, in work that seems to have been independent of those earlier observations. Fleming recounted that the date of his discovery of penicillin was on the morning of Friday 28 September 1928. The traditional version of his story described the discovery as a serendipitous accident. In his laboratory in the basement of St. Mary's Hospital in London, now part of Imperial College, Fleming noticed a petri dish containing staphylococcus that had been mistakenly left open was contaminated by blue-green mold from an open window, which formed a visible growth. There was a halo of inhibited bacterial growth around the mold. Fleming concluded that the mold released a substance that repressed the growth and caused lysing of the bacteria.
Number 4.
4. Non-stick pans. Teflon. Chemist Troy Plunkett was trying to create a new form of CFCs, God knows why, but instead created some mysterious white flakes. These turned out to be the high melting point lubricant now consistently applied to all non-stick pans. Easy omelets for all. The modern non-stick pans were made using a coating of Teflon, polytrifluoroethylene or PTFE. PTFE was invented serendipitously by Roy Plunkett in 1938, while working for a joint venture of the DuPont Company. This substance was found to have several unique properties, including very good corrosion resistance and the lowest coefficient of friction of any substance yet manufactured. PTFE was first used to make seals resistant to the uranium hexafluoride gas used in development of the atomic bomb during World War II, and was regarded as a military secret. DuPont registered the Teflon trademark in 1944 and soon began planning for post-war commercial use of the new product.
Number 3.
3. Matchsticks. British pharmacist John Walker was stirring his chemicals when he noticed a dry lump on the end of his stirring stick. Trying to scrape it off, it invariably sparked a flame, and the idea struck him to convert these to proper matchsticks. The first successful friction match was invented in 1826 by John Walker, an English chemist and druggist from Stockton-on-Tees, County Durham. He developed a keen interest in trying to find the means of obtaining fire easily. Several chemical mixtures were already known which would ignite by a sudden explosion, but it had not been found possible to transmit the flame to a slow-burning substance like wood. While Walker was preparing a lighting mixture on one occasion, a match which had been detonated took fire by an accidental friction upon the hearth. He at once appreciated the practical value of the discovery, and started making friction matches.
Number 2.
2. safety glass, chemist Edward Benedictus was working in his lab when a glass flask dropped on the floor but didn't shatter into several pieces. This was because the inside happened to be lined with plastic cellulose nitrate. He patented it and it is now used in all cars as well as gas masks and the like. In 1909 the first successful patent for safety glass was taken out in France by an artist and chemist, Edward Benedictus, who used a sheet of celluloid bonded between two pieces of glass. Other plastics were also tried, but in 1936 polyvinyl butyrol, PVB, was found to possess so many safety desirable properties that its use became universal. Bulletproof glass is usually built up using several glass and plastic components. Before proceeding to number 1, let's go first bonus accidental invention. CocaCola. CocaCola, 1886. While trying to find a cure for headaches and hangovers, chemist John Pemberton from Atlanta, Georgia, otherwise known as Doc, concocted a syrup cordial made from wine and coca extract, which he called Pemberton's French wine coca. In 1885, at the height of the temperance movement in U.S., Atlanta banned the sale of alcohol, forcing Pemberton to produce a purely coca-based version of the syrup that needed to be diluted. The story goes that one day a careless barman at a soda fountain nearby accidentally spritzed it with ice-cold soda water from the fountain instead of tap water. Others believe that Pemberton ordered this to be done deliberately, and had organized runners to take small samples to Willis Venables Soda Fountain in downtown Atlanta so that taste tests could be undertaken. Either way, customers gave it a thumbs up.
Number 1.
1. Facebook. Facebook is a social networking service launched as the Facebook on February 4, 2004. It was founded by Mark Zuckerberg with his college roommates and fellow Harvard University students Eduardo Severin, Andrew McCollum, Desmond Moskovitz and Chris Hughes. The website's membership was initially limited by the founders to Harvard students only, but was expanded to other colleges in Boston area, the Ivy League, and gradually most universities in the United States and Canada. A Facebook formerly known as FaceMash, Facebook's predecessor, is a student directory featuring photos and basic information. In 2003, there were no universal online Facebooks at Harvard, with only paper sheets distributed and private online directories. Zuckerberg told the Crimson that everyone's been talking a lot about a universal Facebook within Harvard. In January 2004, Zuckerberg began writing code for a new website, known as the Facebook, with the inspiration coming from an editorial in the Crimson about FaceMash, stating that it is clear that the technology needed to create a centralized website is readily available. The benefits are many. Zuckerberg met with Harvard student Eduardo Severin, and each of them agreed to invest $1,000 in the site. On February 4, 2004, Zuckerberg launched it under the name of the Facebook, originally located at thefacebook.com.